Nigel Farage, leader of the Brexit movement in Britain, was recently debanked. Political? Obviously so. Here he discusses.
But actually, truth is, I'm not full of the joys of spring. I've been living with something for the last couple of months that may well fundamentally affect my future career going on from here, and whether I can even stay living in this country. I have been with the same banking group since 1980. I've had my personal accounts with them since that date, and my business accounts right through the 1990s, when I worked in the City of London, and in recent years too. I'm with one of the subsidiaries of this big banking group, one with a very prestigious name, but I won't name them just yet. I got a phone call a couple of months ago to say, we are closing your accounts. I asked why. No reason was given. I was told a letter would come which would explain everything. The letter came through and simply said, we are closing your accounts. We want to finish it all by a date, which is around about now.
You have to be able to predict where the puck is going, as Wayne Gretzky said. With an increasingly centralized world, technologically, where Amazon is shutting down a smart home that somebody had already paid for because of a false allegation of racism, an utterance from within the house, to Airbnb throwing people whose political views they disagree with off the platform, not only those, but the parents, for example, of Lauren Southern, who they canceled from their platform, to PayPal, not only depriving you of your account, but also the funds within it, to government, big government in Canada, like Justin Trudeau, shutting down the trucker bank accounts for having unacceptable views.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing, unacceptable views.
To now the banks in the UK shutting down the accounts of multiple political leaders of those who got Brexit through. I mean, don't you think that it should be incredibly easy to spot the trend, to spot where civilization is going to? When you shut down people for political dissent, you are stifling free thought and expression for many who might agree with it, because they don't want to put their head up and have it chopped off. They want to go on with their lives and not have it ended, so they stay silent. This makes it easier for the powers that be to push whatever political interest they have through. And it doesn't matter whether they're on the left or whether on the right. All that this does is make it easier to control the population. Secondly, this is absolutely anti-capitalist. These companies have either been taken over by the woke mind virus that values virtue signaling over profits, something with which in America, the corporations can and should be sued for by the shareholders, or they are being coerced by the government to enact these policies, the same way that social media companies like Twitter and Facebook were pressured to silence and censor the voices that the establishment dictated didn't adhere to the narrative of Pfizer's COVID press releases. This is, in fact, what fascism is. The combination of private companies and the government to achieve results that neither could generate on their own. The political elites will gain further and further control using these methods. That is the obvious trend that we are going, and it is why it is absolutely necessary that we have a peer-to-peer digital payment network that the elites, that the government has zero control over. And there is only one such network, and that is called Bitcoin. The government is going to have an incredibly difficult time seizing your coins. Unlike your bank accounts, which they can be shut down, the funds can be frozen, or they can just debase your money using inflation and the massive monetary printing that is coming in order to counteract the massive debt that we are all in. And if you've ever tried to send money to a person who for whatever reason, the powers that be deem questionable, even though I had a friend in Singapore that I tried to send a measly $500 to, I had to be questioned to the 6th degree about why I was sending it overseas. You have to jump through multiple hoops if you're even lucky enough to have them allow you to send your money, not their money, your money that you earned, that you put away. With Bitcoin, you send your money to whomever you want, whenever you want. There are no banking hours for Bitcoin. It's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And the powers that be, they can't stop it. We are moving towards a state of totalitarian control. I suggest that you see this trend and that you take immediate steps to protect yourself and your freedoms. And that means, at minimum, getting off of zero Bitcoin. Go ahead, investigate it. This is not financial advice by any stretch of the imagination, but it's my high suggestion that you investigate it and you buy this commodity, whose transactions cannot be stopped. It is the life raft that will rescue us in the coming deluge of totalitarianism. It is the glass of freedom in the desert of big government. And to those of you people who couldn't care less what is happening, or worse, are cheering on the canceling of Brexiteers and others that you happen to disagree with, and their ability to exist in a society using all of the tools that have been created over the years because you happen to disagree with their beliefs, just remember that the leftists likely won't hold power forever. And once you have the machine plugged in that will destroy people's lives, it's far easier to put you on the conveyor belt to be next on the chopping block. Protect yourself, investigate Bitcoin, and know that the trend towards totalitarianism is very, very real.